Hey, Mike. Yankee fan, transplanted, moved down to the Philly area, and I tell you, after when the Yankees beat Phillies in the World Series, and they realized, okay, we need to beef up our pitching, and when they put together, you referred to Halladay as an ace, and they put together what they called the four aces: Halladay, right. Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels,
and Roy Oswald.
And Roy Oswald.
Yep.
People down here were so excited. They had signs on their lawns. You know the political signs, the little square signs you put on your lawn?
Yeah.
People had signs with pictures of four aces, from a deck of cards, but instead of clubs, spades, it had the Phillies logo.
Right.
There were like signs everywhere, as if it was a political campaign. People were that thrilled about the team when they put that staff together, and he was obviously a huge part of it.
Yeah, good point. His first year in Philly, he won 21-10 and pitched brilliantly. His first 2 years in Philly, he had great years, and then he started to have arm problems. His first 2 years, he was in the National League. His ERA is always going to be better. Pitching in the league without the DH. He had a 21-10 with a 2.44, and then a 19-6 with a 2.35. He had 2 dominant years, and then went 11-8 in 2012, and experienced his issues, and his career ended rather abruptly after that, as a matter of fact. But had good years there in Philly. Won the Cy Young in both leagues. Dave and Deal, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good. What's happening?
No, nothing. Just want to jump in, obviously, on this Roy Halladay. I know you jumped in through the statistics, but, you look at his complete games. He threw
67. Yeah. 67.
Yeah, well, if you look at that 10-year span from 02 really to 12, he threw 63, which is really impressive in that time. Baseball pitchers, these guys weren't going that deep. That was really impressive. And then additionally, you look at that 10-year run he had. He won 173 wins. He really averaged 17-plus wins for a 10-year span, which was really impressive. Finished in the Cy Young 7 times, and 7 times in that 10-year span. So he really had an incredible
dominant pitcher. To me, no.
When you're looking at a Hall of Fame stretch, you're really looking for 10 years plus, and he really delivered on that.
To me, he's a no-brainer. It's not even really an argument to me. He was a dominant pitcher. He's a Hall of Famer. Forget 300 wins. People don't win 300 games anymore. They just don't. You don't get enough starts. It's not going to happen. The game's changed. You get too many no decisions. You leave too many games early, although he didn't. But you just don't get enough starts anymore. I mean, in a year, the most starts you get, the most starts Roy Halladay ever got. 1 year he got 36. Other than that, 34 is the highest he ever got. You don't get the starts enough anymore to win 300 games or stay around long enough. Al in Elmwood Park. What's up, Al?
Hey, Mike, I just wanted to jump in on this Halladay stuff. He pitched in the era with the steroids and the home runs, which made what he did even more remarkable.
Yeah, I can't argue with you. He pitched in a great offensive era, absolutely, and his numbers were terrific. You're right. And same thing for Pedro Martinez. They pitched in a very dominant offensive era. Rodney in Staten Island, what's up, Rodney?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for all the years.
Thank you.
I'm gonna miss you. Hate that you're leaving, but it is what it is. Listen, on the Halladay passing, I feel terrible. I remember being a kid. My father, when the catcher Thurman Munson of the Yankees passed away,
yes,
my father,
I remember that very much. Yes.
Yeah, we're lifelong Yankee fans. Long Yankee fans. I mean, Halladay was a dominant pitcher. I mean, when the Yankees flew to the sky, flew to the Sky Dome in Toronto, and you look at the 3-game series, and is Halladay going to pitch that day? You kind of like thought it was a loss already. Like, damn, Holladay's pitching this series. He was so dominant. I feel terrible. That's Trav. I'm a big baseball fan, big Yankee fan, but my prayers and thoughts goes to his family. That's tough. Young man, 40 years old.
Hey, tragic. 40 years old, shameful, just terrible to have someone go at 40 years of age. I mean, really is. Just what a waste of a life. Just terrible. And he had a great life, but 40 years, he had a lot more to give. Simon in Lakewood, what's up, Simon?
Mike, I'm originally from Toronto. We called Doc Halladay. He was the best pitcher we've ever seen in Toronto. He gave us so many years. He gave us a lot more than just baseball. He gave the team composure, and they called him the Doc because he was so methodical in his way of pitching. And we are all saddened today. That's all I can say. We're very sad.
Absolutely, no question about it. John and Bayshore, what's up, John?
Hey, Mike. I was on vacation this weekend down in Miami, and the salesman for one of those planes flew over where we were. We were by an island off of Miami. A bunch of boats were there, and the salesman for that plane actually circled around and landed because he saw so many people down there. So he drew a heck of a crowd for this Icon plane. So we got a good look at it. It's a very light sport plane. I've really never seen anything like it. It's there's not much to it at all. Very small engine, goes 400 miles, goes 100 miles an hour. Really interesting looking plane. It looks structurally very fit, very sleek. It landed right on the water, took off from the water. Really interesting looking vehicle. And he taxied around for a while too, so amphibious is the right word. I mean, he did a lot of time on the water, and then he got back up and took off. Very interesting, but very small, not much protection, beautiful modern cockpit. It's the same plane, I guess, that he was flying, according to what you said earlier.
Again, I don't know enough about the qualities of the craft on the water and what it can do and can't do. I don't want to, be specific about that because I just don't know enough about it. I mean, I've seen those planes. I've never been in one. I don't like little aircraft. I don't go flying with somebody. I don't believe in that. I have no fear of flying, but I don't fly in planes. I only fly in jets. It's just me. I just don't. First of all, I don't like two-seater. I don't like being cramped like that, number one. So it's not for me. But that doesn't mean that you can't fly in them. I'm not taking anything away from them. But I also understand, I think everyone always has to do, anytime you go in the air, there's a danger. I mean, that's part of it. There's always an inherent danger. Joe in Connecticut, what's up, Joe?
Hey, Mike, how you doing? First
Good.
time, long time.
What's happening?
Hey, just on Roy Halladay, obviously very tragic occurrence. I just wonder where would you put him in your? I was born in '82, so I'm still a young guy. I would say him and Pedro since 1990-ish might be the two top guys.
Pedro was better.
Pedro's better, definitely.
Yes, Pedro was better. Pedro's dominant. He was better. He's better than Roy. Was terrific, and Roy's a Hall of Famer. Pedro's on a different level.
Right, and Pedro would be first. I think Roy, Randy, but Roy's got to be in that conversation.
Yeah, I put Randy ahead of him. I would put Randy ahead of him too. But listen, Roy Halladay, he's a Hall of Famer. That's enough of a quality right there. I mean, he's a legitimate Hall of Famer, no question about it. Tom in Hohokus, what's up, Tom?
Mike, I'm a lifelong Philadelphia Phillies fan.
Right.
And 2011 was his MVP season with the Phillies, and I got to see him from behind home plate. Most dominant pitcher that I have ever seen. I'm a young guy. I'm only 25 years old.
Right.
But it was absolutely fantastic to watch him pitch. He was surgical on the mound.
Great control.
Beloved in Philadelphia.
Yes. And wonderful. 2 good years there. His first 2 years, they were great. They really were. I mean, listen, I remember how good a pitcher he was. I remember how durable he was. I remember he used to pitch a lot of complete games. Did a terrific job. Didn't walk a lot of guys. I remember that too. He'd strike out 200 and walk 30. I mean, he was that kind of guy. Very, very good control. Good pitcher. Great pitcher. Peter in New Brunswick. What's up, Peter?
Mike, how are you?
Good.
I'm looking at Roy Halladay's Twitter right now, and obviously this is a very tragic event. But have you actually seen what these planes look like?
Yes, I have seen the picture of it. Yes.
They're pretty. I don't know. They don't seem like the safest looking.
No, they're very odd. They have like they have an inverted or a scooped out middle, and they have a flexible wing, and so they can land on the water, and they're very odd looking. They're a very odd looking machine. They're only 2-seat. Nelson Figueroa, who does the Mets, played with him. How many years? 1 or 2? Just 1 year? But he did play, but he, obviously knew Halladay, and he was on the team with them. What year was it? Give me the year he was on the team with them. 2010? Okay. With the Phillies. He was with them 1 year. So we'll have Nelson in a couple of minutes on the passing of, I should say, future Hall of Famer Roy Halladay. I believe they can move up a vote if I think that they can vote on it if they want to move up a vote for someone who passes. I believe they can. I don't know if they will. I believe they could do that. Now he's eligible next year anyway, so I don't think it makes much difference, right? I think he's eligible this year anyway. Isn't he coming up? Is he eligible in 18 or 19? Is he eligible this year or be the year after? I don't know if it's 18 or 19. I don't know which year it fell into exactly, whether he's eligible in 18 or 19. We'll find out. It was one or the other, and I mean, it could move him up a year. It's a year if it's anything. That's all it could be. 19. So I believe there is a rule that you can move him up. I have to find out. For the most